Welcome to the porch. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now here's your host, Michelle Barras and Brian Swanson.
Peace.
Hola.
You and that hola stuff.
That's what I'm remembering.
Am I gonna have to get you a sombrero?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like stereotypical
Chauvinistic
Mexican.
pig, whatever that is.
Whatever.
I'm sure we could come up with all kinds of names for me.
Welcome to the porch. My name is Michelle Barras.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pearls. We are business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the proverbial porch. And we even brought our sign in right behind Brian's head.
If you guys remember from the very beginning, this used to be on our porch. So we brought it back in today.
He's brought the porch back. Yeah. And it's no longer freezing outside here in Colorado. So very soon we'll be back on the real porch.
Or in a new studio.
Oh,
we might have to actually do.
That would be awesome.
Really nice studio.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
So anyways, our topic today is blinded by the light, ripped up like a deuce.
Deuce. D-E-U-C-E.
You know the rumor in the night?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if you actually go back into the history of that song, it was done originally by Bruce Springsteen, and then of course Manfred Mann, of course, made it famous. But the words are actually different just because of that.
A deuce is like little deuce coupe.
Yep. But that was changed from the original version. So anyhow, first of all, I guess we're going to talk about what.
Oh, I'm watching my pages in case anybody starts talking to us.
Okay. So we got to do our promos first.
Oh, yes.
So our promos, here you go.
Thank you so much for our sponsors. ASquared Promos. That's A2promos.com for any swag that you would need for your business or your family gathering. The next with Ink 182.
I never thought of that. That's a neat idea.
Ink 182.com for anything that you would like embroidered, hats, jackets, swag bags, whatever that may be.
You could do those for a family gathering too, now that you say it.
Of course, because then that's shirts.
Yeah.
HarmonizedBrainCenters.com. If you are having any issues with your brain cognitivity, sleep disorders, anything of that nature, call them, write them, go to HarmonizedBrainCenters.com and find out what they can do for you. LymEvents.com. That's LYMEvents.com. If you're an outdoors person and you're anywhere near the Colorado region, please look at that event site because they do have the Santa Run coming up. I'm sure they'll have something before that too. But check it out because this year, as Brian said last time, they're giving out full-out Santa suits to run. Yes, he's found our live feed. Now, if you are here,
can I sit here and watch me and you talk?
No, stop. If you are here watching us right now, please share the live feed. Now, if you're wondering why in the world is Denim and Pearls coming on at 7:50 at night on a Friday? It's Friday.
Because we wanted to interrupt all the primetime shows and prove that we're as good as, if not better than they are.
No.
Oh.
We started our show on Fridays at noon when everyone was locked down in their houses. Our audience has gone back to work. So we're looking for a good time to catch all of you so you can be live with us because we like being live with you.
I like that. We're always looking for a good time.
We are. For a good time, call
Ooh,
DenimandPearlsPodcast.com.
No.
No? DenimandPearlsLive.com.
Yes, that's something like that. Denim and Pearls Live.
But if you do want to be part of our, what is that called?
Sponsors,
go to Denim and Pearls Podcast at gmail.com and say, hey, I want in because we're about to start our new cycle of sponsors.
Yep. And it took us 4 minutes to get all the way through all those commercials.
That's because I took my time and you interrupted me.
Oh, is it? It's all my fault.
It's all your fault.
Isn't it the typical guy, though? I mean, it's always the guy's fault.
Yes, dear.
Hey, see what I mean? So, anyhow, blinded by the light. What in the world? This was kind of your idea because you had some conversations and different things like that.
Yes.
That really kind of brought this to fruition.
One of my friends, Gail Hamilton, she has her website is called Soaring into Greatness. And she and I were discussing something she was talking about. She had gone out to go get her seeing eye dog. She was totally blind. And she's like, yeah, they put me in a room. They dropped me off at the front of my door and said, good luck with that, and walked away. And she's like, I'm blind. Can you not tell I'm blind? I've got a stick. I can't see you. And she says, they just left me at the door. And she says, I went through and I felt through the room, realized where I was, everything. And then
this was a hotel room.
This is at a hotel room out in another state. And she says, and then she realized the heat wasn't working. So she had just memorized the room and the heat wasn't working. So she calls down and they said, that's okay. We'll move you to another room. She's thinking, I'm in the same hotel. The room will be the same. They brought her to the door. She's like, okay, I'm good. I've got this room. I've got it memorized. It was completely flipped around.
Right.
And so she was running into walls and hitting things. And she said, I realized at that moment, do I stand there frozen or do I walk in trust that I will figure my way out? And I said, oh, what a perfect analogy for everything that we all go through. And so that's where Blinded by the Light came out, is when do we get stuck because we can't see what's in front of us? Do we get stuck and say, I don't want to go? Or do we bravely and boldly walk forward and figure out?
Go where no man has gone before. No.
Yes, and figure out what we're going to do once we get there.
Yes, I would agree. 100%. Always agree. I'm also thinking the fact too, it always depends on our situation, whether it's our life or whether it is our business or whatever.
Let's start with life first, and then we'll go to business.
Well, yeah, that's true. But sometimes it's because we don't know something. Sometimes it's because somebody comes along and, in this case, moves the furniture around. Okay. Other times it's just learning new things to get there. Okay. So just like you were mentioning, she had to go in through and she knew she had to feel her way around the room. We kind of have to do that in our life too.
We do have to do that in our life.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, would you like to marry me? Sure. Now what? Right? Would you like to date me? Sure. Now what? Do you want to go into business? Yeah, sure.
Sure. Now what?
Hey, would you like to do your new taxes? Sure. I have no idea. Yeah. And so that's like putting big blocks in the front of your room. Hey, I used to do my taxes, the easy form. Those are so easy. Oh. And then I have to what? I need to what?
Yeah. And that's just business. But even your regular taxes at home, if you are adulting, as they call it nowadays, you've got investments, you've got real estate or your house or what have you. You have different deductions and you have different credits and you've maybe got kids and you got all this stuff. And now the easy form went away. So much for college and getting all your money back.
So please give us comments. Talk to us, baby. Talk to us. Okay, sorry.
Who was that?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. I think I was going through Zsa Zsa Gabor and somebody else.
Certainly.
No, that Billy Crystal has that character. It's marvelous, darling, marvelous. It's better to look good than to feel good. That guy. And then I mixed it with Zsa Zsa. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm hyper. Can you tell?
She's fired up. So, anyhow, we go through life and we go through business and we look at all of these different things and all of a sudden something comes in and it slams us in the face. So, blinded by the light, all of a sudden the room gets bright and you realize that the chair got moved. Okay, so how do you deal with that? And I think a lot of it, we've talked about a lot of this before. We're just using a different analogy or synonym or soliloquy or whatever it's called for. Yeah, I don't know. But anyhow, we've talked about it before where you've kind of got to take things with a grain of salt, learn from them and move on. And
forgive yourself for stumbling. I mean, I was telling you right before we got online, it's like, walking, I said, navigating through the dark. It's like waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, go to the bathroom. Do you trip over your dog? How many times do you hit the end of your end table? Or worse yet, what's happened to me? Or step on a Lego. Or what's happened to me, get to the restroom, run out, there's no toilet paper. And I don't want to turn on the light because I don't want to wake up. And you're like, there's no toilet paper. And you reach to where the stash of toilet paper is and it's not full. Uh-huh. There's nothing there. And you're like, oh, now I gotta wake up. So it's that regret of having to turn on the light to see what's really happening. Because sometimes ignorance is bliss. Oh, it is. Because I don't think the toilet is the best example in this case. I'm in a weird mood. I'm sorry. That's where I went. But it's kind of like, I look at it more like somebody left the toilet seat down or left the toilet seat. Left it up, at least the bottom portion of it, and you go to sit down, and it's like you fall into a hole. I have brothers. I've never done that. In the middle of the night. Help me! I can't fall in it. Okay. Yeah, you just swim to the top. Anyway, nobody said this was going to be a good show. Blinded by the light, and so I was thinking, being blinded by the light, but it's being in the darkness and being afraid to move. Okay. And then the polar opposite of having so much light brought to a situation that you're paralyzed by what you're seeing in front of you. Right. So like a money pit, like a house. Right. I got this house. I love my house. I'm so happy I've got this house. Holy crap, I've got a lot to do. The floor just fell out. The stairs are broken. So sometimes it's the realization of what you actually got yourself into.
Well, that's your mouse and cookie thingy.
It is.
But you just said it differently this time.
I did, because you really like that analogy. But the other thing I was thinking about is like, oh no, let's not do that. So like a conference, if you ever see conferences, they always look like they're going so well. Everything's perfect. But in the background, people are running around with their hair on fire because the food ran out. Someone was served something they're allergic to. They don't have enough hotel rooms for all the guests. Those kind of things happen. And that's when the light gets shown on the bigger situation and you don't have as much control as you thought you did.
Yeah. It happens all the time. I mean, especially with events. Oh my gosh. Any kind of event.
I wanted you to do it.
You led me into this, did you? Okay. So if you look at events, and you're right, there's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But when you walk in, for instance, I think a really good instance here is, remember, you go to those charity events?
Of course.
You go into a charity event and you sit down and your food's brought to you and you read the little thing, and they show the movie and they make you cry, and then they say, okay, fill out the envelope. It all goes so smooth and it goes like clockwork, and it all happens in an hour. That's the format. It's supposed to do that every single time, and it works out. But that doesn't mean that the guy that's working the video had a problem. The guy working, or the gal, whichever, working the audio or the video, or the guys in the kitchen in the background going, oh, we don't have enough salad for these 700 people. What are we going to do? Oh, just kind of split it up and try it. But there's always an overcoming.
Oh, yeah.
There's always that part of overcoming to it, because it's not always the end of the world, because the customer sitting down, us in this case, are just going,
it's good.
This is awesome stuff. Food's not so good, of course, but
no, I remember doing events, and it's like, okay, the people who RSVP'd for fish suddenly want beef, and it's like, we only made X amount for beef,
right?
And it's like, whoa, we're in trouble. But that's why we always do the wiggle room and always make a little bit more than
right. Well, it's even construction is the same way. I had to order the floor when I was putting my floor down back in October or what have you. You have to have enough for scrap, and you have to have enough for mistakes. So you include a 10 to 15, 15% swag there. So, or whatever you want, a wiggle room, if you want to call it that. And sometimes that, that's playing it safe, I guess, in some ways. That way you don't have to turn around and order more. You save yourself another month waiting on it to come in.
Yeah. Well, I was telling someone on a podcast, I was just on a podcast, and I was talking about, podcast out of UK. And I was saying, whenever you're rigid, you have a tendency to break. Buildings are meant to variance. Everything is meant to give a little bit, or it cracks, or it breaks. So in your life, just like with all this blinded by the lightness, you have to remember that when you're stepping into the darkness of the unknown, there's only two things that can happen. Either one, you don't move and you're stuck where you already are, or you move forward with the hope that you get to what you're wanting. Worst things case scenario, you stub your toe on a chair. The next case scenario is you trip over the chair. The other one is you don't find the chair, and you on the other side, you find the light switch and you turn it on, you're fine.
Well, there's the other one too that you forgot.
What?
You turn around and go back where you came from.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. We fall back into our security area. So, if you're how they say that it's better when you get out of the forest. Got to go through hell to get to.
When you find yourself in hell, don't stop.
Right, just keep moving.
Keep walking. What's that? And you can't see the forest through the trees because you're in the mist. And so, like, Joan is on my private page, so I'm seeing her, so I'm looking down. Joan says, "Stuck, just take the next logical step." And thank you, Joan, for that. So the thing about the logical step is, a lot of times people don't know what the next logical step is. And
exactly.
And so what my encouragement is, and what Brian we talk about, is step boldly any direction.
Right. You always have to. You always have to take a risk or a chance.
Yeah. So
even if it's wrong.
It may not be the logical choice. And if you don't know what the logical choice is, just step. And any movement is better than no movement, especially as any business owner or an entrepreneur.
Right. Well, you know how they say you got to fall, then you got to pick yourself back up.
Be the toddler you were meant to be.
What's that?
Be the toddler you were meant to be.
Exactly. You've got to fall before you walk. And the same goes with business, same goes with life, as we all know. But I think that's also, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Anyhow.
So
after that, let's do a commercial so that I can get my head back.
Okay, we're going to commercial. Stay right there. Please share this with your friends, your family, because we just got started. Thank you for joining us on the porch. We share the nuances and lessons we've garnered from throughout our combined 40 years of life experiences. Talk from the porch is always serious, but full of laughter, and we're glad you're here with us. Like, share with a friend, and please subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And remember, join the conversation every Friday at noon Mountain Time. We'll see you on the porch.
Well, that was short and sweet.
Welcome back to Denim and Pearls. My name is Michelle Moras.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
And we are business casual.
With pearls of wisdom. She's all the wisdom.
From the proverbial porch. Are you the porch?
I'm not the porch.
I am not all the wisdom. I am the talker, though.
Okay, so before we go on, we got to go through our folks first, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. I almost forgot. Let me find it on the thing so that everybody out there in TV land can see what we're talking about. There we go.
Thank you so much for all of our sponsors. If you are interested in any, or when you are interested in any swag for your business or your family events, go to ASquared Promos. You can find them at promos.com. For any embroidery, hats, bags, jackets, you name it, ink182.com. If you're having any cognitive issues and you think maybe I might need some help, go to harmonizedbraincenters.com. If you're a runner, hiker, whatever you want to do and you like outdoors events, go outdoors events. Doesn't sound right. Go to outdoor event. Thank you. Events.
Depends on what part of the country you're in.
I know, it's messing me up. Go to LymEvents.com. That's LYM events.com. And the reason I'm having problems with that is because Brian just came back from Indiana and he says, I just went 5 miles.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's an S, miles.
No.
And he's like, no, it's 5 miles. And so he's messing me up with the whole S thing. So he is in my brain and I need him out. Please help me. I might have to go to Harmonized Brain Centers. Anyways.
I don't think they have a special circuitry for Brian.
I'm pretty sure they'll make one. If you are interested in being a sponsor, we are about to start our new circuit. It's about once a quarter. We have sponsors come back through. Go to Denim and Pearls podcast at gmail.com and say, hey, Michelle and Brian, please hit me up. I need to know the contract. I want to know what's involved so I can also be part of the sponsorship of Denim and Pearls. And we are back.
Following our little red wagon. You know the little red wagon story, right? I'm going to the top. I'm pulling a wagon. If you want to get in, get in. If not, that's your problem.
Oh, I was thinking that was a script from when I was a newscaster in high school.
Really?
Pennies with penny pictures with little red wagons. Yeah, it was a tongue twister you had to say for the newscast at the school. Side note, don't worry about me.
Yeah. I think we're both on that track tonight. So this has definitely been fun. being fun. And yes, miles, I travel 360 mile. There is no S on the end of it. Okay. There's just certain words that's the way it works.
The grammarian in me does not like the absence of an S when it is a plural.
But that's when I agree with that when I'm writing. And you've seen my writing.
Blinded by the light.
Right. You've seen my writing versus my speaking.
Brian is an immaculate freaking writer. I mean, the man can write contracts. He's an amazing speech writer. But when he talks, he takes out the S's on plural things. So I have to fix that.
And I merge my words together too sometimes.
He does.
But everybody understands me. That's all that matters, right?
But he's so good with grammar. Right. So if you ever, no, I'm not going to do that. If you ever need help, hire him to look at your papers.
Well, this is going to go back to what we were talking about
last time. But no.
See, no, what?
You can't do that because we're unblinded by the light.
Right, but we're talking about what we were talking on the other side of the commercial, the front side.
Oh, okay, go on.
Okay, so you and I have been having this conversation lately that I keep getting these calls. I need your help. I need some more help on this, and it's not stuff that's all the same. I mean, it's
obscure.
somebody's car, somebody's computer, somebody's washer and dryer.
Their lights.
It's a little bit of everything.
Like I called him and said, someone cut something off my son's car and we don't know what it is, but there's wires dangling.
Right.
Have him take a picture. He's like, oh, that's your catalytic converter. So we've all come to him for all sorts of strange things. And I'm like, you need to like start a whole new business called like the Minuteman. In a minute, let me figure it out. I'll figure it out in a minute.
Minuteman is not a good term.
Yeah, he doesn't like Minuteman. So, maybe, give us some suggestions on what Brian's new business of being basically the fix-it guy. He can fix pretty much everything. And if he doesn't fix it, he knows someone who can. So I always go to him and I always like, oh, if you need help, you should go talk to Brian. I might kind of be part of his problem. Maybe I should shut up about that.
Well, they haven't come from you. I got called out of the blue today.
Don't worry, they're coming.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, then. So,
blinded by the light.
But a lot of those people who are, talking about blinded by the light, a lot of those people who are actually coming to me and saying, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Is because they don't know what to do.
Exactly.
They're at a point where they've exhausted all of their options. And of course, they save me for last. See how that's going there? I like how I did that. But
save
or they
the
call me
for last.
Or they call me first. Either way,
No, save the best for last.
Depends on how many lessons they've had in the past with me. But they call because they need to know how to move forward, how to fix that car, how to make sure that they save some money, just like yours. I mean, I didn't know exactly what was happening, but I come up with the idea, well, let's double check because this price doesn't seem right. Yeah. And it was what, a $2,300 difference or something like that, big. That it saved you in the long run. And that doesn't mean I'm an expert. It doesn't mean I'm awesome. It's just the way that I think. And it's like, let's try this.
Out of the box thinker. So
you were blinded. You were blinded by the light. I came in and,
and he put us up. He helped shine a little bit of a not so scary light in that direction. So really when we think about blinded by the light, we are all blinded at some point in time in our lives. Actually, sometimes, most of the time, daily. And then sometimes they're bigger. And then we are shocked, like sticker shocked or afraid. And like, I don't know what else to do. So like we could say with my whole cancer journey, I'd never seen it happen before. Except to friends from a distance. And to be in the middle of that, it was like, oh dear, now what? Mm-hmm. And my reaction was, I'm going to just walk blindly and trust my team around the surgical team around me, because this is so beyond my comprehension. Oh, and I'm so emotionally charged about it that there's no way I can make a logical choice. And so,
well, I've been under the knife too.
Get a guide.
It's scary enough. I mean, especially being under the knife when you got to trust the person who's giving you the drugs. You got to trust the nurse that puts that big X on your arm and says, this is the one he's cutting, doc. Okay.
Rich says hi. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Rich. You have to put your trust in these professionals that are out there. So, and hopefully, especially in the medical field, that they're all 100% professional. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. But you have to still have someone with you. Someone with you who's paying attention, because yes, trust, but no.
Well, think of it, we're talking about Comic-Con and we're talking about some stuff like that. Sometimes you put a mask on and you walk around as a character. You've got to have somebody help you, or what we call a handler. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because you don't know what's below your feet if you can't bend your head down and see through that mask, or the mask is almost like dark or what have you. You've always got to have a handler there so you don't trip over the little kid that might be running on the floor.
And this brings us back to, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, you need to have someone that you trust. You need a team that you trust around you for people to see the things that you don't see. So when you are blinded by the light and you don't know what to do, you need someone, like in my case, I've got a Brian in my world, or my husband who I say, I want to do this, but am I missing something? And they do, well, here's my flashlight.
Yeah.
Who do you have in your world that will have a flashlight when you need it most? We are not alone in this world unless we choose to be alone in this world.
That becomes a whole nother diagnosis.
Exactly. So find somebody that you can trust, that you can bounce things off, especially when you find yourself in complete darkness, because there's always a light somewhere in there, or vice versa, blinded by the light in front of you that you're sticker shocked or just shocked not to move.
I keep going. I really want to take this into politics, but I'm not going to.
Please don't.
I really don't. But I think where I'm going to generalize it is, you've got to know both sides of the story. You have to be educated on what you're doing so that you know how to take the next logical step. If not, you have to get it from somebody who you actually trust to have that information and have good information. Because sometimes the information is not good.
Well, Michael just wrote, It's called a medical practice for a reason.
Oh,
Okay. And then Rich put a joke, but you guys can't see it, so I'm going to read it out loud. He says, I trust my drug dealer, but I bought some shoes from him yesterday. Don't know what they were laced with, but I was tripping all day. Yes, thank you, Rich, for your dad jokes.
that is 100% a dad.
It's
Now I
awesome.
know what they mean on that commercial by dad jokes.
I love it. Okay, sorry. I love it. Keep it up. So really, and that's the thing, is to have people around you that when you're panicked or in a stress mode can either bring down your level. So I've got people like Rich and Michael who will make me do different things. I've got Brian who does chill, baby, chill, that kind of stuff. Or 5 Mile, and I get so distracted by the missing S that I forget what I was upset about in the first place. So make sure you're surrounded by people that you can trust and that you can use.
Which is another thing. Sometimes you just have to forget about what's going on.
Exactly.
You have to not listen to my 5 Mile.
Exactly.
And forget about that S. So it's not important.
It's important. And see, that's the other thing, the whole darkness thing. A lot of times when we find ourselves in the dark spot, we're really not in the dark. We're so focused on that one spot that we think we're in the dark. But if we just looked up, we would realize that it was actually a tunnel and there's a huge light on the other end. Unfortunately, there might be a train coming at you. So don't get focused so much on a dark spot that, oh my gosh, the world is caving in. My world is over, everything. No, look up. Look up. Yeah.
It's the fan.
The sky may be falling, but look up. Because usually when you think you're in the dark spot, you really aren't. There's an option.
That was a chicken hawk. The sky was falling, right?
Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Chicken Little.
Where do we come up with this stuff? I have no idea. But that's what.
But I have noticed, and if you haven't noticed, for those of you who have ever watched Denim and Pearls at noon on Fridays, and you're now catching us at 8:00 on Friday, guess when we're giddy?
No. It's been a long day, and somehow you have to make up for that long day.
It's been a really long day. Right. So if you like this time, let us know. Say, hey, stay later at night on Fridays, or, we rather you come on a weekend. We are desperately trying to find the best time to be with all of you, because I like interacting.
We've been doing pretty good tonight. Everybody keeps popping up and in and out and all kinds of good stuff. So,
Michael says, where's SMB? We have not heard back from SMB, Mr. Smarty Pants. We cannot mention them yet. Possible sponsor. And Marcel says she trusts us both. So for those of you, thank you, Marcel, for watching too.
Yeah.
And for those of you who would join us at this time of night, write on our Denim and Pearls page so that we can see you and we can interact easier. Because I keep looking down at my personal page and I feel kind of guilty to losing eye contact with you.
Right. That's also the other thing is too. I think we're getting to the point now where we're almost back to like public events, right?
So close.
It's kind of exciting. I'm wondering how we should do this and how we should go forward.
I want to have a small event, like get one of the like you're doing with the distillery here in Falcon for Mel.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to announce that real quick.
No, don't do that in here.
Okay.
You can ask about that on the bottom.
Okay,
because I don't want to put it in the video,
Oh, that's true. Right? Well, anyways, when we open up for business outside, I would love to have a Denim and Pearls live where we do a stage show and mix and hang out with everybody at a restaurant or something.
Maybe we could make it as small. I see. I'm tracking with you now.
Yes.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Good.
What's the newest phrase for that? I don't know.
I have no idea. Anyways, but that's what is in my mind when we open up. We're having a live event here in Colorado.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good idea. I don't think we need to make it elaborate or anything. I
want it simple.
We bring 5 of our best, or our favorite friends, and call it a day.
Yeah,
and drink some whiskey and some water
and pizza
and
street tacos.
That's the one thing we got. Anybody out there that wants to start a new business in Colorado Springs, when I was up in Indiana, this was the most miraculous place on the planet. It was a pizza bar, okay, and it was run by the Amish folks, and the pizza was amazing. Number one, number two, they had desserts that were to die for, and they had salad. I mean, you gotta have one of these in town because it was amazing. I wish I could have picked it up and brought it back to town with me.
Business idea from Brian.
Business idea. Somebody do it because I'm not owning a restaurant. But buffets are good because, okay, I'm starting to get off track.
Apparently he's hungry still.
Yeah, I just had sushi.
Maybe you want pizza.
But buffets are usually the best because of the tax write-offs, because of the amount of food waste and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, good. Okay, go on. I'm off on track. I'm on food now.
He is. So blinded by the light. Sometimes we get stuck because it's too dark and we're focused on something that we are lost and we think that we are stuck. Yeah, like right now he's stuck. And the other thing is sometimes we get just the opposite. We're moving full-fledged and we're like, oh, this is great. I love this present. I can't wait to open this present. And you open the box and it's more than you ever anticipated. Like maybe when you go to IKEA and you buy a table and I have a table over here. I'm like, I don't want to build it. So that's my blinded by the light. It's like, I really hope my husband will come up here and build my table for me. So those are kind of things that we were talking about, blinded by the light in business and in life.
You're talking right directly to him. I love it.
Yes, I am. Business and in life. Sometimes you got to walk blindly into what's next. My girlfriend, I was talking about Gail Hamilton, who started this whole conversation. She's from what did I say?
I don't know what she's from.
Soaring into greatness, I think.
Okay.
But I was talking with her about it because she's totally blind and she has to navigate new. And she was explaining all these things about being blind. And I'm like, wow, if more of us could learn from a blind person like you, Gail, we would probably be far more successful in the things we do because of the way you always navigate in the dark. And she said, really?
Right.
And I said, yeah. I said, you see clearer than we see with eyes. And so we got into this big conversation about sometimes our eyes deceive us. We look at something and do, that is too big for me. I'm not good enough for that. But if I was blind, I wouldn't see how big it was. And I would just do it because I wanted it. So how many things in your life have you let intimidate you just from the vision of it or what you envision of it?
Well, I think we should give everybody a little homework assignment.
Please do.
They should be just like Gail.
Yeah.
They should, like, even if it's in the middle of the night or during the day, close their eyes. Close your eyes and find your way around your garage because your garage is not in order.
Yeah.
Or find your way around figure out what's going on and then tell your significant other to move the furniture a little bit.
Just as simple.
When just so you can sweep under it and then close your eyes and walk back into the room.
When you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, do not pick up your phone and use it as a light. Just go without the light.
Yeah, well, that's where my mom put the little night lights in.
Take them out.
That's why I say close your eyes.
Because you'll cheat.
And then look at look at it from that standpoint, the way that we're looking at it. Gail has an issue or not an issue, but she learns to understand what's around her by her surroundings with no eyesight. So what about your business? What about your life in general? It's the same way. I mean, every day is a new thing and you got to figure out what's going on, unless, of course, you do the same thing every day and you go fishing.
Okay. Anyways, as what Gail was saying was when you lose one ability, your other senses get stronger.
Yep.
So in your business, if you have a blind side in your business, what other senses that you have around your business have heightened? Mm-hmm. So you need to take advantage of those kind of heightened awarenesses. Don't ignore them when you do. You know what? I got a feeling I really don't want to work with that person. Or I've got this feeling that I really want. Listen to those guts instincts because that's part of your entrepreneurial business world is and then you second guess yourself.
Right.
Walk blindly sometimes. Give it a chance.
Highlighting your senses. It's like yesterday I was making my grill catch tray and I had cut off sheet metal. Well, then I went back and I had to smooth it out so that somewhere down the road I didn't grab a hold of it and slice my fingers off. Well, I kind of had to I didn't cut myself on this one, but I had to at least feel where the roughness was on there because you look at it, you can't see it. You can't see that small stuff. So I had to sand it down and then feel for whether that was smooth or not. So it's the same thing. Your senses, you use those other senses to figure out what else is going on.
Do not rely on one. Use
And don't
multiple
always listen to my
senses.
metaphors, but
Listen to metaphors. If it clicks for you, it clicks. So be flexible in how you do things. Give yourself some wiggle room. Be brave enough to walk into things that you can't see into, because sometimes that's where you really need to go. If it's too dark and you are afraid, go find someone. Get someone who you can bounce ideas off of, someone who can see beyond the single tree. You're looking right into the hole in the tree. I don't know. It looks kind of scary in this hole. You're looking in the hole of the tree. Get somebody to help you pull back so you can actually see that you're in a forest with many, many opportunities. Hopefully that is an analogy that works.
Your visuals are like totally awesome tonight.
Thank you.
Did you do this with your eyes closed?
Uh-huh.
And one hand tied behind your back?
I'm telling you, I had the most amazing conversation with Gail.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's doing a TEDx, and so we've been writing her talk, and it's like she's got my brain just going crazy right now. It's awesome.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So I think we call it a night.
I'm so glad we had this time together. So
hey, that wasn't bad.
With me. Good job. So blinded by the light. Don't let the darkness make you fearful. Go out. Be the best version of you. Step a little bit out of your comfort zone, because you know what? That's where growth happens. And my name is Michelle Moras. This is
Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pearls. We are business casual
with pearls of wisdom
from the proverbial porch. And until it gets warmer outside, we will see you next week. Be the best version of you.
Peace.